The first light of dawn spills over marble temples and terracotta roofs. Bakers hurry loaves from brick ovens, while vendors shout about olives and figs. In the forum, a herald climbs the rostra, unfurls a scroll, and begins to read the latest decrees. People lean closer because Roman laws could protect, annoy, or surprise them in equal measure. Rome was famous for aqueducts, arches, and armies, but its glue was law. Some rules kept the peace, others were about reputation, superstition, or sheer control. A few were so strange they felt more like theater than justice. Today we're diving into 10 bizarre laws from ancient Rome. You'll hear about wreaths that could get you fined, dinners that needed head counts, and a statute so explosive it could topple an emperor. Stay with me until number 1, the law that shook Rome's streets and made rulers tremble. Number 10. Laurel crowns reserved for heroes. Victory in Rome wasn't complete until a general returned in a triumph, wearing a laurel crown. Ordinary citizens were forbidden to copy the look. To parade with leaves on your head was to mock the state itself. Ancient humorists loved this law. Juvenal wrote about a wine merchant who tried to drum up business by wearing a wreath and offering victory prices. Lictors stopped him, seized the leaves, and fined him a month's takings. Another story tells of tavern owners handing garlands to tipsy Saturnalia guests, until magistrates dragged them to court for disrespecting Rome's defenders. Imagine striding across the forum with a crown of fresh greenery, only to feel every eye turn. A magistrate approaches. "Show me your Senate decree." Suddenly the crown is heavier than a helmet. If Rome could regulate a handful of leaves, what happened when someone sneezed at the wrong moment? Number 9. The forbidden sneeze Roman trials were part theater, part ritual. Advocates paced, witnesses murmured, and judges weighed every gesture. An unexpected sneeze could be seen as ridicule or a bad omen. Some jurists warned that disturbing the gods' silence risked contempt of court. One tale speaks of a young lawyer who felt a tickle just as he launched into closing arguments. He tried to stifle it, eyes streaming, but the sneeze escaped. The magistrate froze proceedings, scolding him for breaking the solemnity. The case slipped away to a rival who kept composure. Veteran speakers carried handkerchiefs scented with mint or myrrh, hoping to calm treacherous noses. Even defendants were told to keep sneezes in check. Picture standing accused of fraud, sweat prickling as a sneeze climbs your throat. The judge's eyebrow lifts, and you know this isn't etiquette, it's law. And if sneezes could endanger a verdict, what about a flock of birds that once saved the city? Number 8. Protecting Rome's sacred geese. High above the city, beside Juno's temple, lived a flock of white geese, Rome's legendary guardians. When Gallic raiders scaled the Capitoline in 390 BCE, the birds honked loud enough to rouse soldiers and repel the attack. From then on, harming them was sacrilege. Priests kept ledgers of every goose, age, markings, even temperament. A farmer who borrowed one for a winter stew was hauled to court when feathers turned up near his oven. He pleaded hunger. The magistrate fined him a year's wages and banned him from the hill. Imagine walking past the shrine, hearing indignant honks, and knowing the law stood behind every feather. But if Rome could defend geese with legislation, its appetite for bread inspired even stricter rules. Number 7. Bread for the people. Or else bread wasn't just food. It was politics. Panem et circenses, bread and games, kept crowds content. To avoid riots, edicts fixed loaf prices and punished bakers who shorted weight. Inspectors visited bakeries with bronze scales, sometimes in the middle of a busy morning. Soldiers patrolled grain stalls during shortages. A baker caught cheating could lose stock. pay ruinous fines, or endure a flogging before his own oven. Picture kneading dough as a patrol steps inside, weighing each loaf while customers whisper. A single light loaf could close your shop. And if authorities could count ounces of bread, they were equally ready to count dinner guests. Number 6. Guest list. Patrol Rome's elite loved elaborate banquets. Lawmakers worried feasts would drain fortunes and stir envy, so they passed sumptuary laws. One-capped dinners at 9 guests and limited exotic dishes. Inspectors sometimes appeared mid-meal, stylus ready. Satirists joked about rotating guests, paid to leave so new arrivals could sneak in. Getting caught meant fines and ridicule, poison for status-hungry hosts. Imagine reclining on a couch, sipping Falernian wine, when a magistrate steps through the doorway. Count the diners. Suddenly the mood sours, but etiquette stretched beyond tables. It followed Romans into the forum. Number 5. Toga trouble. A toga wasn't casual clothing. It was the uniform of citizenship. A statute demanded proper draping in civic spaces. Appear untidy or without a toga in the forum or court, and you could be fined or ejected. Augustus himself once scolded spectators for showing up like barbarians. Petitioners sometimes fainted in summer heat, rather than risk presenting a wrinkled fold to a judge. Visualize yourself balancing yards of wool while lictors scan the crowd for offenders. If appearance could be policed, so could behavior around the dead. Number 4. Laws of the tombs in Rome were part shrine, part status symbol. Regulations limited their size, decoration, and the noise allowed nearby. Grazing animals or blasting horns among graves could bring penalties. Oversized monuments risked accusations of pride beyond life. One inscription warns, "Let no one open this tomb or build higher beside it. Whoever does shall pay 10,000 sesterces to the treasury." Even silence around the dead had a price. Imagine shepherds steering goats off marble steps as an official scribbles citations. And while the dead rested under legal guard, water, Rome's lifeline, had its own watchmen. Number 3. Crimes against the aqueducts. Aqueducts fed fountains, baths, and gardens. Secretly tapping them was a serious offense. Inspectors known as aquarii prowled channels at dawn, listening for trickles behind stone. They uncovered hidden pipes that fed private fountains or shady taverns. Caught diverting water, you could face huge fines, property seizure, or public shame. Chroniclers tell of illegal spouts smashed while crowds jeered. Picture sneaking out at night, bamboo tube in hand, only to see torchlight glint on helmets. Water theft wasn't petty. It threatened the city's pulse, and if protecting water seems intense, consider laws that bound personal loyalty. Number 2. Patron loyalty on trial. Rome's society ran on patronage. Patrons offered money or jobs. Clients owed support, sometimes in court. A statute let patrons sue clients who failed to stand by them, branding them ungrateful. Court records describe awkward trials, clients defending honesty, while patrons accused betrayal. Judges usually favored loyalty. To lose meant forfeiting gifts or facing public disgrace. Imagine being summoned by the man who pays your rent, ordered to testify in his favor, though you doubt his case. Conscience or security, the law forced you to choose. Yet even loyalty couldn't match the uproar over Rome's most vital resource. Number 1. The grain, hoarding, panic. Bread kept Rome calm, and any threat to supply shook the city. Merchants who stockpiled grain to spike prices risked more than fines. During crises, soldiers stormed storehouses, dragging sacks into daylight while mobs roared. One chronicler tells of a prefect accused of hiding wheat during a shortage. Crowds gathered at his door. Officials smashed locks, spilling grain into the street. Riots followed. Senators debated emergency rations, and the emperor himself ordered harsher penalties for hoarders. Imagine standing in a warehouse as guards roll barrels toward an angry crowd, your livelihood collapsing in dust and chaff. That single statute protected food and could destroy fortunes or spark revolt overnight. No law combined fear, hunger, and politics, like Rome's war on grain hoarding. From goose guardians to toga police, midnight water raids to grain riots, Rome's strangest statutes show an empire determined to script every detail of life. Some rules protected order, some protected egos, and a few, like our final law, could decide who ruled the world's greatest city. Which one left you most amazed? Could you navigate Rome's maze of decrees without slipping into fines or exile? Tell us in the comments, and subscribe to Civilization Deep Dives for more journeys where history hides its weirdest secrets. Because the deeper you dive, the stranger it gets.